All right, good evening, everyone. It's great to be here. We shall be having a live Q&A session today. As I promised last week, that we will be taking all the outstanding questions that have been dropped on the group over the month um, and some days, I think. Again, I want to apologize for not getting to your questions early. It has been a very pretty busy couple of months for me. But I also thank you all for your patience and um, for your motivation to continue to drop questions, even when I've not been able to answer them. All right, so I'll quickly get to it. We shall go through a significant amount of questions, see if we can get through everything, and we'll just start answering. So today I'll have some assistants, and the questions will be read out to me. So if you hear another voice, just don't let it throw you off. The questions will be read out to me, and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. All right, so I think we can start with the first question.
All right. The first question is by David Creation. He says, what can we do as designers, or rather as a community, to increase our value, especially in the Nigerian setting? Because I see designers offering to do designs for people at 800 naira for a flyer or logo for 1,000 naira. It's sad.
All right. Okay, so David is asking here, what can we do to increase our value as designers? Um, I think one thing, the thing you can do to increase your value, remember the value is what you give out. So as a designer, what you give out is your design skill, your ability to design. And this doesn't just work for just designers, but works for anybody offering something, giving something out. You increase your value or the quality of your value by um, increasing the quality of what you input into your mind, through your eyes, through your ears. Your when you increase the quality of what you feed on, it comes it comes out in what you put out there as your value. So I've told people this before. You know, when I started doing design, I was looking at so many designers, not in Nigeria, a lot of them in the US that were like way better than I was, doing much better work, work that I couldn't do at that time. There was no way I could do it. But you know what they say about aiming for the stars and ending up with the moon? That's what happened to me. So from just feeding on good work, professional work, incredible work, I was able to start doing good work. My mind was challenged. And I started to recreate good work that was not on the level of people whose work I was seeing, but when it came to the Nigerian environment, it was much better than the work around me. And that helped me to stand out as a designer and be more valuable. So you see, you said, especially you're talking about, David was talking about designers charging a particular amount. You see, that's a distraction. If you take your value from, or you get discouraged by what people are paying you, then you will never give good value. And that's where the conveyor belt has to be set in place. What you give out attracts what you earn in the long run. And remember, I'm saying in the long run. A lot of people want to earn before they give out their best work. So they're always keeping back their best value for their best clients. But you must know that you send out your best value to call your best clients. So you must be continuously do good work, even when you are being paid ridiculously low, because that work is traveling, and the more it travels, the more the chances it would meet somebody who would see the value in it and like, okay, I need to pay this much for it. So if you want to do valuable work, you must put out valuable content, and that's just life. You understand? It's if you look at chickens. What do chickens produce? Without killing them, they produce eggs. And how do you increase the value of a chicken's egg? By improving the feed. There's nothing you can do to improve the value or the quality of an egg if you don't improve the feed. The feed determines the color of the egg. The feed determines the shape of the egg, the size of the egg. So if the more you feed it, the bigger the egg. The cleaner the food, the whiter the egg. So it is what you give it that determines the value it gives out. The same thing with cows. Cows give out milk. The better the pasture, the better the milk. You understand? So you must put yourself in a position where you are always receiving value, things that are incredibly valuable, so that you can continue to give value. And you realize that after a while, you set yourself apart from these 800 naira per design designers. All right, let's go to the next question.
All right. The second question is from Hubroot. Hubroot says, you said we should focus on the value rather than the money, as money is just a byproduct. How about when people come to you for your service? And since you know the kind of value you possess, the kind of problem you solve, and your service is 120K, for example, and they're asking to pay like 20K, since you're focused on value, would you do that kind of job? Is it advisable?
And now that's very connected to the first question. It's like a rider on the first question. As I said, value goes out first before pay. Value goes out first before pay. Sometimes it takes a while for pay to catch up with value, and we must be ready for that. A lot of young designers, young professionals in quote, are not ready for that. Number one, they expect pay to come for value, and the ones that are even thinking differently are expecting pay to come quickly after value. But sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while for the word to spread. It takes a while for the impact to be felt. So even though you are doing good work, especially in design, sometimes the client doesn't feel the impact of your good work till 1 year down the line. And they say, man, this guy's design has really helped me to improve my patronage. But they can only judge after a year. So I remember working for a school once, and I remember they were really haggling price with me, and I really wanted to work with them. So initially, I didn't argue price with them. I just said, okay, let's do it, because I realized that they were going to give me a lot of exposure then, and they were a big school. So I said, okay, I'll work for you. It's not the price I'll normally do it, but I'll do it. And it took them about a year for the person to actually call me back and say, your work has really, really helped us to get more students through our gates. And since that time, they stopped arguing about price a lot. You understand? So then it was more of time. Can we get it in on time? But price was not a thing anymore. It took 1 year. It took 1 year for me to confidently charge what I wanted to charge. So you see, it's not about what they're coming to you with. You understand? As I said, you cannot put your talent and your value on park till the road is totally tarred, because you have somewhere to go. You have to cover that distance. So I would say to a large extent it depends on where you are. If you're just starting out, to do those 800 naira jobs, do those free jobs self. You understand? You're just starting out. Nobody knows. Nobody knows you can do the job. Nobody knows your job will impact their business. They just think you're like every other graphic designer or designer out there. So you can't blame them. That's the truth. Now then you need to let them taste and see. And after tasting and seeing for a while, they can see the difference. Then you can come and say, this is how much I want. You understand? And then you realize that they won't be able to walk away. If they can walk away, then they haven't felt the impact yet. Or maybe there is no impact. But you see, when there's impact, they can't walk away. They can't walk away. You understand? So value comes before the payment. So yeah, always offer value first. Don't be dissuaded, distracted, or discouraged by how much they are offering you. It will those things will clear up with time. Just give yourself time. As long as you're enjoying what you're doing, give yourself time to get to that place where people will begin to see you as a premium brand. And you see, after a while, the way people would even tell you, say, I'm coming to you, the way I've seen your work, or I'm sure you're not cheap. People started coming to me as a designer with that. And I had not even discussed price with them. They just said, from what I've seen, I know you're not cheap, so we are bracing ourselves. But that came after a while. You understand? So be patient. The payment for your value will come, but it might take a while.
The next question is from Amza Messiah. Amza is asking, how does one awaken his spiritual mind?
Okay. And yeah, that's a good question. How do you awaken your spiritual mind? I think for those who listen to me a lot, they will know one thing. You can't listen to my content without me going at some angle about spirituality, because I've come to really believe that spirituality is a key element in life. I was going to say a key element in business, but then that's just minimizing the impact of spirituality. It's a key element in life. If anybody is talking to you on any level and not including some form of spirituality, then they are holding back on you. That's the truth. I remember when I came to the understanding that spirituality couldn't be taken out of the equation. I remember asking my wife, "Do you think it's okay for me to talk about spirituality in my content?" Because then I just like, if she said no, I'd have just stopped making content because I would have not felt like a phony. I just felt like every time I was talking and not telling people about spirituality, I was being a fraud. I was telling them to do things that they couldn't really do. So you're like telling someone to exercise and telling them like I'm telling them, oh, you're going to lose weight, you have to exercise, but you won't watch your diet. You understand? Or watch your diet, you won't exercise. You know, all those things, just like they will do the work, but it will get half the results. So spirituality is very important. How do you awaken your spiritual mind? It doesn't sound as complex as it is because you are a spirit person. We are all spirit people. We are spirit, body, and soul. A lot of times we listen to our body a lot over our soul and our spirit, and you listen to your spirit by trusting those thoughts that you don't understand. A lot of times, why it's hard to listen to your spirit is because your spirit is always telling you to do one of two things: things that don't really make good sense to you, and two, things that don't have you at the center of them. And that's the hardest thing for us to do as human beings, to go ahead with something that doesn't make full sense to us. Human beings don't work that way. It has to make sense. But the spirit doesn't work that way. So sometimes you have some thoughts and it tells you, Tohib, go and visit um, Jesley today. Why should I go and visit Jesley? Number one, Jesley lives so far away. Why should I go all the way there to go and visit him or her or stuff like that? And I don't have any business. You understand? I have more important work to do. That's how the spirit works. Just drop something in your mind and you have to obey. You need to obey because it's going to lead to something, but the spirit never tells you what it's going to lead to. So you must learn to listen to that quiet voice within you. And then when you get to just this house, you're about to leave, you had a conversation. Just doesn't even feel like if you're saying anything that is important to you. The spirit says, okay, drop 1,000 naira with just before you go. And you're like, I only have one five in my pocket. 500 naira will get me home. We'll give that 1,000 naira to just now. It's now saying that the spirit is asking to do something that doesn't make sense. Number two, now asking to do something that doesn't have your good in mind. That is very anti the human way of working. We always think of what's in it for us, and it has to make sense. So, if you want to awaken your spiritual senses, you must be able to listen to that voice in your head, in your mind. Some of you call it your conscience, some of you call it your mind, whatever it is you call it, it's there. Talk to everybody. And the more you listen to it, the more it acquaints itself with you and it tells you more things. But you realize that what it gives you in terms of benefits is more than you can ever think or desire. But just like building a muscle, you do it every day, it gets stronger, it gets bigger, it gets louder, it gets more confident. And that's strange for me to say about the spirit. But the spirit gets more confident in telling you stuff the more you obey. So you need to start with the small things. It starts with that: get up from the bed. It's 5 o'clock. Oh, you're like, I don't wake up till 7, but get up by 5 o'clock. You're driving, you have a car, park and pick this person. Those small things that you do will lead to the really big things, and you begin to exercise your spiritual alertness. And you realize that you become a more spiritual person. All right, so next question.
The next question is by Sangwa Jeffley. How do you run a strategy session? What are the things to look out for in the strategy session?
All right. So this is another question from Sangwa. It's talking about strategy sessions. I think we all run strategy sessions, you know. We run it in business, we run it in life. We all run strategy sessions. Strategy sessions is just a fancy way of talking to somebody to clear up any issue or to find a way forward concerning something. So if I have a flat tire and I'm driving with somebody and I'm like, ah man, how do we get a mechanic or a vulcanizer here? That's the strategy session we just started on how to solve this problem of this flat tire we have. So strategy sessions are very, very, they are simple things. They're just conversations to clarify things and to make progress on certain when you reach certain roadblocks. So how do you run a strategy session? Number one, by not thinking of it as a strategy session. You understand? Not thinking of it that, oh, I don't know how to run a strategy session. It's by asking real, honest questions with your client and just say, okay, where did you start this business from? You are just interested. I think the most important element of any strategy session is interest. You must be interested in the subject matter and the people that you are associating or talking to. So you must be interested in the client, and your interest comes would show by the questions you ask. How did you start this business? So when I run strategy sessions with clients or with anybody, I'm always asking questions where they are coming from, where they are, and where they are going. Those three things are very important. Where are you coming from? Why did you start this? And where are you right now? How are things right now for you? And where are you going? Where do you want to go with this thing? Those are the three areas of strategy session. And they're very simple. You can run a strategy session for designing a flyer. You understand? Why are we designing this flyer? What's this event about? When did you start this event? Now, how many people do you want to come for this event? What is their age? That kind of thing. That's strategy. Then that makes you know what kind of flyer to design. So three things: where they are coming from, where they are, and where they are going. Those things are core to any strategy session. And your interest is the fuel. You must be interested. You can't run a strategy session for someone you're not interested in. Your interest is what brings about empathy for the project and for the client.
All right. O. Collins Concept is asking, how do I have a non-designer's contact list? Because frankly speaking, almost all my contacts are graphic design related people.
Okay, Collins, that's a good question. And it's true for most designers too. I'm sure the most designers here too. When you look at their contact list, most of them are designers. Now, when I look at my contact list, most of them are designers too. But for me, that is intentional. It is not by the way. You understand? Not like, oh, I just realized that it's intentional because I'm a teacher and I teach designers a lot. So I intentionally go out to get designers' contacts. So when someone contacts me on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook, I always take them back to WhatsApp so I have their contact, they have my contact. That's intentional. But if you are working as a graphic designer, and then that's because I'm working as a graphic design teacher or a design teacher, you understand? So I need to gather that audience of designers. But if you're working as a graphic designer, you don't need that many designers in your contact list. It's good to have them, but you must always balance it up. It's like a balanced diet. A lot of people, you feed too much on design content. And the best designers are the ones that are inspired by everything. Good designers are inspired by design alone, by good designers. But great designers are inspired by life, everything. And what is life? The people out there. So how do you get more people on your contact list that are non-designers? It's by having conversations. Conversations. I say this all the time that conversations are so key. So you're going in a bus, you're sitting beside someone, you are living in Lagos where traffic can take 3 hours, and all you're doing is just looking at your phone, and there's a human being sitting next to you. 3 hours. You understand? You can strike up a conversation. You understand? And you'll be surprised how far this conversation will go within an hour, 2 hours, that make that 3 hours look so short. And you say, oh, by the way, my name is Collins. What's your name? My name is this. Oh, can I have your contact? And that's it. He's a lawyer, you are a designer. He's a farmer, you're a designer. She's a model, you're a designer. Those are the people that need you. Your designer friends don't need you. unless they want to collaborate, which they don't do too many times. The most people that will call you if you are running a design business are people that are not designers. They're the ones that can be stuck without your skill. So you need to go out talking with them. They are all over you. They are more than the designers, but you're not talking with them because you're not having interaction. And that's the thing. We have more interaction with our phones than we do with real people. So your neighbor is a non-designer. Talk to him. Take some time. Just say, I want to talk to you. You're back from school. I just want to ask you how your school experience is. And then he'll talk to you and start telling you, oh yeah, our school experience is good. Oh. As a matter of fact, I'm selling t-shirts for young men and jeans and stuff like that. And you look at that, that's cool. Ah, but you don't have any branding for this your stuff. And I don't know any designers. So like I'm a designer. And that's where it starts from. That's where it starts from. Interaction. You don't need to go too far. Those conversations are right there. The people living in your house, a lot of them are non-designers. Your sister is a non-designer. Your cousin is a non-designer. You understand? A lot of times our contact with these people is so poor. You understand? So um, you must start building relationships. When you build relationships, you start having more contacts with these people, and that you before you know it, you just realize that you have more contacts of non-designers than you do of designers. So you go out, go for get-togethers. Don't just go for design hangouts. Go for general hangouts. When GT is having their GT food fair, go there. There's no gate fee. You understand? Just go there. Just go there. Yes, there are going to be a lot of people that are bakers and caterers and stuff, content guys. Go there and just talk to them to do wonders for your business.
The next question is
Right, next.
by Muhammad and is asking if you want to switch sides in graphic design, like moving from a general designer to brand identity design, what are the steps that need to be taken? And also, how will you be able to gain clients for that?
Okay, so you want to move from one aspect of design to the other, from graphic design. So people say general graphic design, yeah, that's cool. So you're doing everything and you now want to specialize in one area. How do you move? You move slowly. You move slowly. That's the truth. Um, and this is something I've done. When I started, I was doing that general thing too: flyers, web, animation, interactive design, some logos. And then after a while, I just decided I wanted to have one voice, one appealed to me more. It was slow, to be honest with you. It had to do with some turning down and some taking up. So I was turning down some of these other jobs, and then I was taking on some of them too. After a while, when I felt I needed the money, you understand. But after a while, I established in people's minds that I do just logos, that I'm a logo person, and they could respect that after a while. It takes time. Then your client list will begin to change too. People will keep calling you and telling you, "Oh, I need a designer. I need a designer to design my flyer." Then you say, "Oh, no, I don't do flyer design anymore. I do logo design now." But then you want to help them too and say, "I can refer you to somebody." You understand? So that you don't totally block them off as contacts. So that's what I do. Even now, when I don't do core design anymore, more of speaking, mentoring, training, a lot of people still call me for design. So many people. So I know it's going to be slow. I know it will thin with time. In the next 2 years, it keep going down. And after a while, I will only have people call me for speaking engagements, calling, and clarity sessions. That would happen with time, but I can't expect that to just close up with time too. I need to successfully place these people that call me in the hands of people that I know that can do it. And that I just say, "Oh, I know designers, or do you need someone to do this? I can connect you with this person." And most times they call me back and say, I was so happy with this person. I'll start working with them now. You understand? But then you just drop it in their mind that I do this too now. And you realize that those people that you've told will tell other people what you do. So it is slow, it's gradual, but you must start detaching little. And then you begin to detach your content too. Like when I was doing general graphic design and I was doing a lot of posters and flyers, I used to buy a magazine called um, Computer Arts. It was very expensive. I used to buy it every single month. It was a worthy investment for me. But when I stopped doing that, I stopped putting my money there. I started buying logo books, started buying fonts. You understand? So you start diverting your investments too. to strengthen your hand in whatever area it is that you want to specialize in. All right, so I hope that helps you. Any other question?
Yes, this one is from Martin. What other
Yeah.
skill sets as a graphic designer can make you stand out? For example, having knowledge in copywriting as a blogger enables one to write catchy content. So, what other skill sets should graphic designers learn to improve upon their craft?
All right, that's a good question. What other skill sets apart from the ability to design? One thing I am very particular about is your communication skills. Communication. You must be able to talk about what you think, what you can do. You must be able to talk about your thoughts and your abilities. Those who are able to talk the best get the best clients. I've seen it with designers a lot. I see designers, their skills are average, their technical skill average, but they're working with big companies because they know how to talk about what they're doing. And this, you see, the other I call it communication skills slash social skills. And when you tell communication skills, your ability to be able to talk. So some people can talk about what they are doing, but their social skills are bad, so they don't go out and meet people and talk about it. But when they talk, they can talk. You understand? So you think of your technical skills, you all know that one. Ability to use Photoshop, Illustrator, AI, whatever it is. But your communication skills, your oratory skills, how can you string words together to convince somebody that you can do the job or that you have quality thoughts? And your social skills, how do you go out and meet people, like we talked about in the last question, and strike up a conversation and go out and know that, okay, I need to meet human beings. You understand? That's your social skill. Then your intellectual skills also, where this is where you are not just consuming design content, but just content generally about your general knowledge, self-help books, spiritual books, business books, money books, all those things. So those are the skills you need to build. Your communication skills to talk, your social skills to meet people, your intellectual skills to think, then your technical skills to work. So those are things, those are additional skills you'll need as a designer.
Samuel says, over the year, you have been practicing as a logo designer and now a brand consultant, and is asking, how do you respond to the first call you get from clients? What's the conversation like? When I say first call, I mean the very first time the client calls you.
All right. So, what's the very first thing you say to a client? Very first time they call you is to be clear about what they want. Clear about what they want. So, and that's where how I start out. A lot of people get too deep. I try not to get too deep in my first calls because number one, they've not engaged me. And I always tell people once you start thinking, you need when you start thinking, you're already you deserve to earn. You understand? Once you don't start thinking. So so the first thing is, what do you want? Person tells me I want to design a website. No, I'm not the person for you. I'm not going to go too far in that conversation. I don't do websites. You understand? So I can tell you someone that does it. Oh, I want to do an animation. I don't do that. But say, oh, I have a logo that I don't really like. Okay, so you want to design your logo. But I'm never asking what your business name is, all those things. I just say, I'll send you my red card. This is how much I do it for. You understand? So those things kind of clear up two things. What they're contacting me for, can I do it? Yes, logo design is my bread and butter. I can do it. Now, second thing, what they're contacting me for, can they afford me? So they need to see my rate card. If they call me back, then obviously they're considering it, meaning they can afford me. You understand? Or they think they can afford me. You understand? So once those things are cleared up, we can have a more constructive conversation. But the first thing is, what do you want done? Just a synopsis, a logo. It's just a logo you want, or you want other brand materials. Yeah, other brand materials. What are they? This, that. Those things might change along the course of the way, but I want to know in what ballpark it is, so that I know that is it within my area of specialty. Can I deliver? Yes. You understand? And if it's no, no. You understand? You can check it from there. And then I still have my rate card. Now, when I didn't get my rate card, even the rate card can change afterwards because they might now come and say, we need a logo, but we also need this. But then they're working with the base. If you are ready to work with the base of the rate card, then we can always scale it up based on extra things you might need. But you must be a very simple conversation first. Very quick, very simple. Don't invest too much time because you're wasting your time or wasting their time. You guys are not going anywhere. You're not there to gist. It's business. You understand? So it's a very simple thing. What do you want? And then just tell them I'll send you my rate card. That must always happen. You understand? Just tell them send your rate card. Have a look at it. If you're interested, call me back and stuff. And when those are interested, we call back and then we go from there.
Vivian Esquire has this question. What tools do you use for your recordings?
All right. The tools I use, my recordings, I keep them very simple. I use my phone for my recording, especially for my podcast. So I record with my inbuilt. I use a Samsung phone, so I use my Samsung voice recorder. I have a mic, which is a pretty good mic. Not what I'm using right now, but I use for my recording. It's a very good mic. So I had to invest in that, and I I use that for the recording. So simple, you understand? So that's what I use basically for my recording. My Samsung voice recorder and my mic. And then sometimes when I need to edit, I use something called although with my style, I don't really edit my stuff because I operate well in real time, real live. I don't do a lot of editing to my, but when I feel I need to edit, I use InShot if I say I want to do like a video stuff to it. But then it's that simple. It's a basic tool. If anything would hold me down in recording, is my mic and my phone.
There's another question from Mohammed, and it's asking this time, how do you know the right time to start marketing your skill as a designer? And also, how will you gain non-designers contact or your target audience contact?
Okay, so I'll start from the last question because I've already answered the non-designer contact. You have to communicate, socialize. Very important. Your target audience. You don't know who your target audience are. That target audience thing is a very funny thing. We all say target audience, but we don't know. We actually don't know. So even the client that comes to you and says my target audience is this, without putting out a product, you don't know who your target audience are. Like I'll use this ProUp Masterclass Telegram group as an example. I get shocked because sometimes when I do my content, I expect it to be a certain demographic. You understand? So I thought, oh, people my age, you understand, not too far off my age, maybe in their 30s, mid 30s, early 30s. But then when I sample the age, I'm seeing 18, 24. I never knew that they will connect with what I'm saying. That's the truth. Even though people say, but you're talking to designers and you're advising them, you should have known. But I never knew. Sometimes you are so blindsided by what we desire. So when I started out, I was desirous of people that were earning good money. You understand? To be my listener base. But when I started putting out my content, it was people that had not even started and were struggling to earn. And I was just like, I need to own it. You understand? I need to own it. Those are the people I resonate with, obviously. They became my target audience. So now I became more intentional with how I form my content for them. So the truth is, you never know who your target audience is till you start putting your product out there and then it starts attracting. So you never know the insects that get attracted to a particular kind of sugar or whatever it is you put. So you put it out there, then one particular kind of ant will start coming. You understand? So and this brings us to your question about marketing. When do you start marketing? Now this thing about marketing, you know, it always confuses us because we are marketing. And because marketing must always have an a result. That's why you ask this question, when should I start marketing? Because you don't market without getting results. If you hire marketers and nobody comes to buy, you fire them, right? And that's why marketing is such a delicate thing. And I want to advise you to think of it as marketing. My question, what you want to start doing is start to share. Sharing. Prioritize sharing over marketing. Market sharing is, and that's why I talk about, your spirit, your body, your soul. Your soul, you see, your body wants to market because it wants return. The body is a very, very, very selfish part of these three compartments that forms you. The body is the most selfish. It's the most selfish. It wants to take care of itself. Doesn't care about other people. It cares about itself. You understand? So, when you, it's your body that wants to market because you want the returns. It's very impatient. Your soul wants to share. You understand? And your spirit wants you to do what your soul wants you to do. Your soul in agreement, your spirit and your soul, because you know that they are very, they're very intangible, so they get along well. They have a vast knowledge. So you should share more. It's hard because sharing is you just putting out there and just say, I don't know whom I need this, but if you need this, enjoy this. You see, then it now travels to people that you never expected and helps them, and then it comes back to you after a while. Marketing is you just looking with your eyes and saying, who can I like hunter and prey. You understand? They're like a predator. Should I? This one I like his shoe, he can afford it. This one I like his car, he can afford it. I like her dressing, and those things can deceive you and get you into trouble a lot. What you want to do is share. So when I was working as a designer, I used to share. Very little marketing, more sharing. So I was always sharing my stuff, always sharing my stuff, always sharing my artwork, my stuff. Just look at it. If you're a designer, it inspires you. Good. I remember the time I was doing artwork, like typography, and one guy called me and said, "Can I use this thing on a t-shirt? Print this thing on a t-shirt?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead." And he was like, he called me back some weeks later. I said, "This is on a t-shirt. I made some money." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool." And I okay, sir, but why did you allow me use it? I said, "Because I was just sharing it. I did it because I enjoyed it and I wanted it to go out. But you saw it and you felt you wanted to do t-shirts and you sold it. That's good for you." But you see, it felt like if I missed out. If you think about that, you like, Mr. Tola missed out. The thing about that kind of thing is that even if I sold those t-shirts, that money will come and go today. And the truth is, I wasn't interested in selling t-shirts. But another interesting thing happened. I went to someone's office and they wanted to hire me for a logo design. And then when I came in, the guy, I was showing them my portfolio. And then I used to go around my laptop, which is a bad thing to do if you are going to show your work. But I used to do it in early days. I made my laptop and they looked at my laptop and they now came across one work I did. And the guy in charge was like, "You did this job? This don't stop believing." I'm like, "Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's not what I'm looking at. They show them my logo." And he said, "No, no, 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 no. I have this thing on my phone now." And he brought out his phone and showed me my work that he downloaded. And he didn't even look at the name of the artist. Just say, "I saw it on Facebook and I liked it and I kept it on my phone and I like it." And you know what? That was the end of any presentation I was doing. I was the guy to do the job. And I worked with those people for about, White Eagle, I worked with them for about 3 to 2 years. They were the first people I worked with that I made ₦1 million as a designer. Those were the first people. And it came because the guy in charge connected with an artwork I just shared on Facebook. I'm telling you, I just shared the artwork on Facebook. He kept it on his phone. It was not the guy that owned the company, but the guy that was in charge of hiring the designer that would do the rebranding. And said, "I have this thing on my phone. You don't show me anything again. We want to work with you." That was it. You understand? So share, share. Share your work. And sharing doesn't have a start day and an end day, unlike marketing. When you're marketing, it has to be perfect before you market. When you're sharing, you can share while you're a novice because you're sharing a journey. And some people just see you're sharing. Yeah, you just started making cakes. It doesn't look as nice, but you're sharing what the first cake you've done. And some people say, "Oh, this is so cute. Oh, this is so adorable." It reminds me of when I just started my business. You know what? Hire that girl to make our first cake. When our cake don't look like, no, let's just encourage her. You understand what I'm saying? That's where sharing comes from. But marketing, you must prove that you are that person. So what they see must be number one, picture perfect, and then you must deliver it. If not better, it must be that level. So marketing gets us in trouble a lot. Sharing endears us. So you can share anytime. Once you start your journey, start sharing. And you realize that people will just start gravitating towards you. I told someone this that was in my logo design class, and he has been sharing. You understand? I've been sharing his work and he's doing like a 30-day logo design stuff now. And it's helping him. And I see it every time. I'm proud of him doing it. I just told him, don't market, just be sharing your journey. Just be sharing it. So I would advise you to start with sharing. And you see, sharing will be the biggest form of marketing that you can do for yourself. All right, any other questions?
This is from Temitokpe Ogunsomi. How exactly can I build a profitable career in design? I'm currently in the university studying industrial chemistry, but I've found I don't have a passion or even willingness to learn or continue. I am doing it because I don't want the money and resources my family and I have put into it to go to waste. And I've surrounded myself with friends who are passionate about school and doing well in life. I want to do design because I love it. But so far, over a year and a half now, I've not been able to make it profitable financially. I've committed myself to learning and I try to learn something new every day, but it's not working.
Okay, so Tim Chokwe, thanks for this question. A very honest question. Very relatable. A lot of people feel this way. And, there's no easy answer to this question. That's the truth. There's the politically correct answer. Take that certificate, use that on whole body. That's the politically correct answer. That's what anybody would want me to say. But you see, I didn't set up this group to give you political. I set up this group to give you answers that I wanted someone to give me when I was your age. You are in university studying industrial design. You are not enjoying it. It's not making sense to you. But yet you are in it right now because you don't want to waste the money that has been invested. So it is money sunk that you are trying to save. You are trying to save something that has sunk already. You understand? But remember, there is more money ahead than there is money that you spent. The future is always bigger than the past. The future is always bigger than the past. And if you read my if you listen to my podcast, I've done various content on this kind of thing. There's one more recently talked about um where I talked about dropping out of school. There was another one where I talked about, I've forgotten what I titled it, but I'll put it on the group after this, where I talked about the character in the Bible called King Amaziah, who was about to go to war, and he has spent 700,000 shekels of silver. That was hundreds of millions in those days to buy an army. And as he was about to go to war with this is brand new, shiny 700,000 silver worth army, the man of God told him, don't go to war with those people or else you will lose the war. And he said, okay. But what happened to my money that I've spent 700,000? And the man of God says, I can give you more. What God was saying was that the future is bigger than what you spent already, what you've sunk in it already. But if you go with these people, you would lose. You would lose your kingdom, you will lose your life, and you will lose the army. You see, that's what the Bible says. That's what God says. God is not interested in what you've sunk. He's interested in what is possible in the future. So you know it. Industrial, whatever it is you're doing, it's not working for you. You must have a conversation with your parents with whom you're trying to um, save. You understand? They're trying to save their money. They don't want to waste their money. But you know what? You know what will happen? If you do this course, finish it. There's another thing that will be sunk in their expectation. So a lot of time we think of, oh, they've sunk their money in it, but that's not even the biggest thing that concerns them. After they sink their money, they will now sink their expectation for you to work as an industrial designer. So you will always be subject to what you owe them if you're thinking that way. Because you're thinking, when I'm done with school, that's all the money they've got. No, 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 no. They're spending that money because of an expectation. The expectation is bigger. So then they expect you to be a profitable industrial, whatever it is. So then trust me, they're talking to their friends right now. When you finish school, they start talking to their friends. My son is an industrial this. Hmm? He needs a place to work. Then you will not believe then you start saying, man, they've spent their time connecting. their connection. Can I now stop it now? That's when you find yourself 20 years later not doing what you want to do. Do you understand? To please your parents, sunken investment. You need to stop it now because it's still early. It doesn't feel early, but it's still early. And tell them, this thing I'm doing, I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm doing. I'm not enjoying it. I might not even be doing well. I don't know how you're doing. I'm not doing well. I'm distracted. I'm sad. I want to do this thing. How can we make it work? How can I cross over? How can I cross? How can I do this thing right now? You understand? You need to talk with them. A lot of times they think we will get a negative reply. You might have to fight for it, but you'll be surprised that your parents are human beings too. So have that conversation first. Let me know even I won't preempt or can come out, but you have that conversation. And then you will realize that what you would do, at least by having that conversation, is they might tell you finish school. Do you understand? Because you're still a dependent, so you might still need to finish school. They might tell you finish. But you see what they will do, eh? They will stop sinking their expectation. So they will know this guy who doesn't like this thing. Okay, we don't goof. We have goofed. You understand? We are spending money, but this guy wasn't want. So they just say, okay, our expectation will not be for him to be an industrial this anymore. You understand? Then you saved yourself something expectation too in the future, that pressure of that. So, but you must have that conversation with them. I do not like this. I'll tell you a story. When I was in Canada, mm, my parents were so proud that I was in Canada. They loved the fact they were telling all their friends, "Oh, my son is in Canada. My son is in Canada. He's studying in Canada. Ah, we have a son in Canada." They're proud because we're like, but it's still a pride. What are people speak to them in Nigeria? That son was abroad. So Canada was great. It was a great place. But after I left school in Canada, I got in the knowledge. My mom was come back home and start this business. You understand? But then I realized that their expectation was for me to stay and get the green card and be a citizen and call for my sisters and stuff. But then I said, when I left school, it was all downhill. And that's when you're done with something, it can only go downhill if you don't go to the next level. So I was like, I'm done with Canada. It was just everything was just downhill. My emotions just went downhill. My energy went downhill. When I was in school, it was fine because that's what I went there for. But when I started to work, it was a struggle. But I got work, but it was a struggle. And I remember this day when I called my dad. It was hard because I realized because they were always excited to call me. I called my dad because I was my the bottom of it. So I called my dad. I mean, I've not cried in a long time. Remember, I was a grown man then, 20 something. I was grown. And I cried like a 6-year-old that day. I remember I went into a car and I cried. I said, Daddy, I don't want to stay here. I am sad here. I'm sad. I'm not happy. I know no, my dad was like, are they treating you bad? Are they being racist? I said, no, they're being absolutely nice. That's how I know that I don't want to be here. If they're being racist, I would say, it's the people. I said, no, it's just the environment, it's the spirit. I'm not happy. And I remember sitting and I was looking through the windshield at a scene, and it was a beautiful scene. Canada is a beautiful place. I won't lie to you, beautiful. It was like a painting. And I remember there was a fall day. The weather was nice and cool, and the place was beautiful, and people were nice. But I was sad, and I called my dad and I told him. And he was saying, "Is there anything you can do? Would you think it would change?" I said, "Dad, I don't think it would change. I don't think so. I'm not even willing to even stay longer for it to see if it can change. I'm not happy here." And from that day, they started to prepare their mind for me to come back. I had to have that conversation. I had to burst their bubble before I would bust my own life. And I came to Nigeria. I came back to Nigeria. No light, no water, insecurity, internet bad, government terrible, this. But I wake up every day and I'm happy. I'm happy. It's ridiculous. You can never explain it. That spiritual thing, you can't explain it. I'm so happy. I'm so fulfilled. Sometimes I look at my bank account, it's not saying what I want to be saying, but then I wake up the next day, I'm so happy to be Tola Alabi. I feel like I'm doing what I ought to be doing with my life. You need to do that with your own life too. Have that conversation, take control, guard your happiness, guard your joy at the end of the day. But you need to have that conversation. All right, any other question?
Yes, we have another one from Sangwa Jessley, and it's saying, as it is now, I have been in the graphic design industry for close to 3 years now, and have noticed here in Cameroon, people don't value graphic design. I mean, the graphic design industry is like a total mess here. I plan on building an agency that handles brand identity design, product design, web development and design, and business consultancy, and also get into the printing industry. What's your advice on what I should and must do, and guidelines I must follow to be able to achieve all of this?
All right, so thanks, Angwa from Cameroon. First of all, I want to correct this notion that they are a set of people in a place that don't value graphic design. I can't say about every other industry, but the average human, not the average human being, the human being is created to value design. We are in such a secure industry. If it's about need, oh, the different thing. The difference is about need. Need that they need this. No, no, no. Everybody needs it. Everybody values it. They just haven't seen it in context. But everybody is a seed to value design, just like everybody values music. There is no human being in this world that doesn't value music. Every human being. It's just the type of music. So some people they don't like. See, I didn't know I valued music till I realized hip hop music in the 90s. Then I was like, whoa, I love music. But before then, I didn't. I wasn't a music fan till I found the type of music that aligned with my person. So there's something you don't know you value. There was a time I didn't value football. I remember my uncles watching football, like, this uncle has come. For the next 2 hours, I'll be watching this. Now I'm doing the same to my kids. Till I started watching the type of football I wanted to watch. When I went to an uncle's house in the UK, and I was a Manchester United fan, and I saw Manchester United calendar, Manchester United documentaries, and I was like, is this football that these people are branding like a film? And I was looking at all the players and we were talking about their history and how they're playing, where they're working, what they're driving after. I'm like, oh my goodness, I want to watch football. So when I started watching the football, I'm like, oh, I know this guy, Sebastian Veron. Oh, this guy I read about. He's from Argentina. He drives this kind of car. He's married to this because it became personal. I was not interested in football. So football was not boring. It was just that I had not connected with it. Wasn't put in the right context. Them Aimba, them Plateau United were not doing it the right way. But when English Premier League started doing it in a way whereby football became like a series, like Game of Thrones, you realize that there was interest in football. So the problem is that design has not been put in context in Cameroon. But every single human being is attracted to design. That's secure. You understand? It's secure. It's such a secure industry. People need design. Graphic design will always be needed. Now the question is, will the world come to a place where people can do it themselves? Maybe, but that they won't value it. No. So the problem is they've been seeing bad ambassadors of design in Cameroon. So they're like, why should I put my money when this thing no even makes sense? And the truth is, there might be an exposure problem in the place where you are, but exposure is being broken every single day with the advent of social media and the internet. People are seeing how people are doing things abroad now in villages. They are seeing it. So you need to be the light. They haven't gotten pure enough light. They are getting candle light. You now have to be that blazing light that people. You see how people will rush to you in that very Cameroon. There's no place in this world that you will go to that they won't value design. The only problem might be their earning power might not be able to afford your type of design. But even if I go to my village right now, the person selling stuff in my village, if she doesn't know, the daughter knows that a good flyer is a good flyer. You understand what I'm saying? They know, they want it. They want it. They buy newspapers there now. They watch TV there now. You understand? There's DSTV in Cameroon. Why do they watch DSTV there? You understand what I'm saying? When ShopRite opened in Cameroon, there was a picture of the line that was in front of. I don't know whether it was ShopRite. One big shopping complex. The line that was there because they've been waiting for it to be put in the right context. Not that there were no shops before, but those shops were not doing it right. When the ones that were doing it right came, people lined up. You understand? So you now need to be that shop that does it right. So go get your inspiration from the right people, from the people that are doing it right, not the Cameroon people around you, the people that are doing it right. The world is so open right now. Learn from people in the US, people in Australia, people in South Africa, some people in Nigeria. Learn from them. Standard and offer that standard. And I dare you to put it out there and see that those people that you say don't appreciate it will not line up. They will line up. They want it. The thing that you have to be patient with them. You might need to do it for cheaper than it actually is first. But as I said, value comes first in the conveyor belt before earning. Then you will now realize that they go out and talk about you. And then you realize that there will be some other younger people that are watching you and say, ah man, this Sangwa guy is good though. Let me learn from him. Some people will learn from you directly, some people will learn from you indirectly. Before you know it, the standard of design in that area of Cameroon will just rise. You understand? Then design will become a thing. Because they know that if I go to Sangwa charge, I don't know how much, I don't know the currency in Cameroon, I'm sorry. But you charge something, maybe let me use dollars. Sangwa charges $100. Then I go to the next guy, Philip. Philip charges $95. Nobody's willing to do design for cheap anymore. That's how the standard is raised. Then the business person say, man, we need to budget that $95 for our branding this year. That's how the industry changes now. Photography industry, how do you change in Nigeria? Kelechi Amadi, if you don't give him credit for anything, he revolutionized that industry. Kelechi Amadi, can say it anywhere. He revolutionized industry. Photography was point and shoot till he made it glamorous. Kelechi Amadi made photography glamorous in Nigeria, a country of 200 and something million people, even more. One guy started shining light. And then Zara started saying, what he did, entertainment industry. They started doing music covers, album covers. When they started seeing people's photos and stuff, like, man, this guy's album cover is crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Before you know it, photographers started looking at him, started buying umbrellas, backdrop, lenses, tripods. Before you know it, the industry has changed. Now you want to snap photos, you have to budget well. You understand what I'm saying? One guy was able to shine the light from what he saw abroad, but I'm sure he worked at a loss initially. I don't talk to him. I just know that he must have worked at a loss. Because people say photography, not just to stand and one guy down the road. But he wasn't discouraged by that. He realized that there was a gap, and he realized that every single person desired to look good. You understand? So that's my advice to you, Sangwa. Go for it. That's the right place to do business. But don't expect that you become a millionaire overnight. But you become a legend at the end of the day. I will always choose that than becoming a millionaire overnight. You understand? You become a legend at the end of the day. They will remember you in that place for setting a standard. And that brings more fulfillment at the end of the day. And the money will come with that eventually. All right, any other questions?
Yes, there's this one from AK Ja Info. Do
Okay.
you think there's anything like dual passion with equal intensity? That is, having passion for two different things that do not connect. Career wise, do you think it's possible to have strong passion, for example, being a welder and a graphic designer? I mean, equal passion. If yes, how do you balance the equation?
All right. That's a good question, Ikeja. Do I think there's dual passions to start with equal intensity? Secondly, um, yes, I think this possible. It has never happened to me before. I'm not one of those people. You know, I'm so tunnel vision when I have something. When I'm doing something, so things always come to me one after the other. But there are people dual passion, not even dual self. What do you have? Triple passion, quadruple. You understand? At the same time, screaming at you. It's possible. It would be ignorant for me to say I'm too dismissive to say it's not possible. Um, the same intensity, it will also be dismissive for me to say there isn't because I don't feel that way. That's me judging from my own. No, but I think it is possible. It might be. One thing I do know is that you can't do everything at the same time. And that's where people get it wrong, where they feel once it's dual, it needs to be balanced. No. That word balance, it throws us off balance more than any other thing. Because it's dual doesn't mean you need to balance anything. Once you have more than one thing, the most important thing is not balance. The most important thing is order, not balance. Balance means you're doing it at the same time. So when you're juggling, balance is juggling. Order is I do it now, I come back to this. I finish this, so order is more important than balance. Even in life, people are looking for balance in their life. What you need is order. So when you look for balance in your life, you want to spend 1 hour with your wife, 1 hour with your kids, 1 hour watching football, 1 hour doing your work, 1 hour. No, 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 no. You can spend 7 hours doing your work and 5 minutes with your wife. But see, it's that order. When you're spending 5 minutes, you are present that 5 minutes. When you're spending 7 hours, you are present, not distracted. Order is more important. So you see, when you have those interests, you need to think of them. Which one of them can I actualize right now? The reality is that you can't actualize everything right now, or everything to the same level right now. So even if I see at a point, I want I know I love graphic design, but I also wanted to do like dog breathing, which I don't want to do anymore. But then I thought I wanted to do dog breathing. But then I knew that this dog breathing, capital intensive, time intensive. So I just put it on a shelf. Once I do my graphic design, I make some money, I will go into dog breathing. Do you understand? But that shelving is what people do. They want to do everything now. So the other day I was driving with my family, and there's a barbering salon called Johnny Barbers. Now, Johnny Barber himself is an actual human being. He's not just a brand name, he's a person, a human being. He he started as a DJ in Abuja. He was a DJ, but obviously he had his eyes on opening a barbering salon. So after I don't know his story, and I would really love to sit down and talk to him. And maybe I will do it one of these days. You know, he 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 started a barbering salon, and he still DJs. You understand? But for only for premium clients. But now he has a chain of barbering salons all around Abuja doing incredibly well. He's easily number one barbering salon in Abuja. Number one, branches everywhere. But the thing is that on I think over the weekend, we saw that they had started a wine shop. He was selling wine, so we saw Johnny's wine store. And my wife was like, does Johnny Baba have a wine store? And I said, yeah, he does. Oh. Maybe this was something he had in mind all this time. I'm saying, okay, when I make this money, because to start a wine shop that is quality takes money too. But now we can easily do it because number one, his DJ work is going on autopilot. His barbering salon, autopilot. So he's just going and just picking per time. God knows what else he has in mind. Maybe he wants to sell cars, but he's getting to it in a particular order. He's not trying to balance. He's setting one up and moving to the next. And that is what we must learn to do. Set up and move. Set up and move. So if you have all those dual, triple, quadruple, well, it's okay. Equal intensity is okay. But is it equal money in your pocket? No. So start with one, shelve the others. Establish that one, go to the next. Establish that one, go to the next. That will be my advice to you. That's what will help you if you want to express yourself with dual intensity, dual passions.
Okay. This question is from Bukumi. Bukumi says, I am a 17-year-old boy. I love tech and I am also blessed with artistic talent. I am a baby designer with just 7 months in design on packing stage. I always have the urge to share my designs to the public and on my social media. I think the reason for this is to get validation from family and friends and also to get clients. I know it is wrong to search for clients at my stage, but the pressure to do so is high. I am always worried that if I do not share my designs, I will not be able to improve and I will not get clients. My question now is, one, how did you deal with these throbbing questions when you were at my stage? Two, is it ideal to share designs on social media at the unpacking stage, or am I meant to keep my designs to myself? I believe I am not stuck to design by mistake. I think it is God's doing. This is why I don't want to have a faulty foundation in my design journey.
All right. What's his name again? Sorry.
Bukumi,
Okay. So Bukumi, um, first of all, I'll congratulate you. You're so lucky. 17. You found out what you want to do. Very lucky. I congratulate you. You're so lucky. You don't even know how lucky you are right now. And you know you seem like an intelligent young man, whereby you you can acknowledge that you are a baby designer. The problem is a lot of people that are starting off cannot acknowledge that they are baby. You understand? So for you to say I'm a baby, that's good. You understand? Um, Now, this issue of validation, don't start selling early to get validation. It's understandable. I was like that. I started at 24. You understand? So I was 7 years later than you. That's why I'm congratulating you because I was still early, kind of early. Um, yeah, it's there. That issue of parental validation. We all want our parents to be proud of us. We want those we love to be proud of us. But let your food cook well first. It's hard, but let it cook well first. You see, I went through that stage of I wanted validation. So I was going out and trying to ask for money. And going out and trying to apply for awards. My own was even award self. I knew money was not a big distraction for me. I won't lie to you. Money has never been a big distraction for me when it comes to selling work. In fact, I hold back on that money thing. You know, it's a back and forth discussion with my wife. But money has never been for me. Is that validation from people. So I wanted awards. So I was applying for awards, entering in competitions. I wasn't winning any of them. And because I wasn't yet ripe, eh, what was happening was they didn't take me, not because they were malicious. My work was, I spent some time thinking about it. I'm like, "Oh, all this work that I put in, they were not that good. You understand? They were not that good. So they didn't take me not because they didn't like me, because my work was not that good yet. But you see, and I also believe that God was trying to teach me something. So he was trying to teach me to do it, not to prove a point to my parents that I was a successful person and I was they could be proud of me. Because you know what happened? Every time I tried to get that validation and didn't come, I'll become sad. Then that same people that I'm trying to prove validation will have to come and drag me out of my sadness. Then they'll be encouraging me. And don't worry, you don't worry, you win other ones will come. So you see, I now became more dependent because I was trying to prove. So the same thing when you try to sell early too. mm, You might get someone that will buy, but then you won't do a good enough job. Then they will ask for their money back, and then you don't have the money. Then you have to go to those same parents that you want to be validating you. Then they will have to come and rescue you. You understand? Then you get the opposite of validation. That that shame. That then they're not really ready for this thing. We've been telling you, just take your time. When validation would come, it will come easily and effortlessly. I told people my first design award ever. I was just watching the video today. This year, that's when I got my first design award ever. My first design award. It came easily. I didn't compete. I didn't campaign. I didn't submit. They just said, I just went to that. I didn't know they were going to give me anything. I said, Mr. Tola, I came to talk to them. I said, Mr. I want to give you this award for all the work you've done. We want to recognize you for your effort. And they wrote something so beautiful on the award. When the right time comes, eh, look, when the right time comes, the fruit will fall. You see, all this, you don't have to be throwing sticks at fruits. It's not their time to fall yet. When the right time, when the fruit is ripe, the attachment to the tree would weaken and will fall to the ground itself. But when you start throwing sticks, that way you can break somebody's window, wound yourself, wound your friend, and stuff like that. It's not like getting fruit is bad, but you're doing it at the time that is not right. When the right time, you just put basket down, you just start falling. Just a little wind self, if you fall, it's not hard to gather fruit, but it's hard to gather fruit out of season. So if the fruit you want is validation from your parents, then just stay focused on what you're doing. The parents will come and they're the ones that will call you and just say, and we are so proud of you. We are so proud of you. Your brothers, your sisters, they are so proud of you. You understand what I'm saying? To come at the right time, to drop. You won't do much. You just show up. You understand? So you need to relax and do your thing. You're 17. You have your whole life ahead of you. Enjoy what you're doing. Still have the grace to follow your passion. Follow it. People might criticize you and stuff like that. You're making money, you're 17. Come on. You will make the money when time comes. You will make the money. Relax. All these people that are playing football, Kylian Mbappe, how old is he? At a point, it was his parents that were keeping money for him now. But now I think he's beginning to keep his own money himself, spend the money that he wants. You see, and that's what those football academies try to do. I remember I was reading something about Marcus Rashford. It was the time they were trying to campaign for him to earn more salary. And the Manchester United said, we're not paying him a dime more. Not that they didn't have the money, but they felt like they needed to protect that guy to focus on the most important thing. And he focused. And now he can ask for money comfortably. You understand? So they realize that this guy is still a teenager. He's playing good football, but we want him to play football because he loves football, not because of how much he wants to get. But the agent wanted to start increasing first. You understand? Because he was thinking of his own money. So you need to give yourself time. You're still 17, man. By the time you're 24, and if you stick to this design thing, you'll be doing incredible things. Incredible things. That validation, it will come. It will come before you're 30. Do you understand? But do it for the love of it. Validation is in the background. You understand? Don't focus too much attention on that. The people that will validate you to encourage you, they will be there already. There are some core people that validate you in your early stages. God will send them to you. Those people don't wait for you to be ripe. They can see from seed stage what you're going to be. Keep those people around you. Sometimes we joke with those people. Don't ever joke with those people. Those people that see you at seed stage and they're like, ah man, go for this thing. Oh. You're good. Even though they can't, but they can see the element. Those people I told that will encourage you. They will continue to increase with time, but remember them. You understand? Remember them, keep them close. But before you know it, you have general validation. You understand? You have general validation from those people you love and those people you don't know. They will begin to validate you very soon. So I just encourage you to continue on your journey. Don't get distracted. Hope I didn't miss any part of the question.
Um, I don't know if you've addressed this part where he says, is it ideal to share designs on social media at the unpacking stage, or am I meant to keep my designs to myself?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. This issue. It's okay
Okay.
to share from day one. You can share from day one. In fact, people love when you share from day one. Some people don't share. You understand? Share from day one. Let people see that you just start. Let them see. Look, one of the biggest regrets I have, and I still say regrets, is that I don't have my very first design. It still nags me. It nags me. I'm like, why didn't I keep that very first design I did? But well, it wasn't really my fault because there was no social media then. But if I had social media, I would have kept it and I would have known this is where I started from. Do you know what? The value of that work would have gone up in the sense that it's not valuable because of its beauty, it's valuable because of its story. You understand? And that's what I didn't have the chance to keep it because I didn't share it. And there was no platform to share. So when you use Facebook and Instagram, they're not just to be sharing photos are good because they also help you to share some things that you like, see how I looked. See the time they did this challenge of before and after, people were doing it a lot then. I think about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. But because they were able to share, You could go back to those old photos. So sometimes you need to share your journey. You can share from day one. Marketing is a different thing, you understand? But share from day one, you understand? And then you begin to build an audience and a following, and you realize that in the end, you don't need to market that much anymore. Sharing just becomes your strategy. All right, next question.
All right, we'll take this last one from Mubarak Yakin. Mubarak is asking, what courses, tools, books, and resources would you recommend for someone who wants to start his journey into graphic design? Also, how would you advise a newbie graphic designer to learn the skill in order to obtain mastery?
Okay. What courses, tools, platforms, books um would I share? Um, all right. I have a library of resources for my mentoring people. I'll share some of the books that I shared with them with you guys. I think I've shared them before, but I'll share them on the group again. So take some time. But there's an app called Script. You guys need to invest in Script. Invest in it before you invest in Netflix, DSTV. If you are paying for any of those things, it's a paid app. But I would advise, I will advise that you subscribe to it. I would advise that you subscribe to it. It changed my life. I subscribed in 2020 and it changed my life. Just 2 years of using that app where you can listen to audiobooks. So this list I will send to you, a lot of them are script books. So if you're not on script, you cannot enjoy these resources I will share with you. You cannot enjoy them. That's just true. But if you subscribe, I think they'll give you a couple of days free. I think the first 60 days. I think the first 60 days will be free. So you can subscribe on Script. For Script, I'll leave a subscription link for you guys for those who want to subscribe, and you can just binge on these books going into the new year. They will help you. A lot of them are mind books, communication books. Um, so they will build your communication skills, your intellectual skills, your social skills. There are also some design books. So there's a video I have that I will share from ProUp Masterclass, the YouTube channel, that would enlighten you about design books that you need. So I would also share that with you. I want you to watch that video, note those books. Those books are expensive, but one thing I tell people is order books of Amazon. If you can order one book every 6 months, you don't need to start too large. Just 6 months, save up for one book. In 5 years, you see how good and big your library would be. You don't need too many books. You just need a few books. And I had someone in my mentoring community. I told him this. He said, books are expensive. Oh. I said, just try to order some. Now he has a couple of books. I mean, I'm looking at his library. I'm like, this guy has this book on design. You understand that kind of thing? So I refer people to him. I'm like, go and meet Kosi. He has incredible books. Some money just came in and was able to order some books. And he got the books. And they're his books now. And his design has improved. So I'll share that video. I'll share the links from Script. I'll share the link to subscribe to Script to you guys. Take advantage of it. They give you some days free. You understand? But after those days free, subscribe because you want to learn, you want to read books. That will be good for you. The last thing you said. What's the last thing you said? The last question. Sorry.
He says, how would you advise a newbie graphic designer to learn the skill in order to obtain mastery?
Okay. Yeah. So how do you? What would I advise a newbie graphic designer to do to get to a point of mastery? Mastery is one of those books that I advise you get to. It's by a guy called Robert Greene. Um, First thing, apprenticeship. We don't emphasize on apprenticeship enough. Learn under somebody, please. It's too important. Or else you make mistakes on your own that you shouldn't make. So, apprenticeship. Learn under somebody. Find somebody who is good. Offer your service. If they are paying you, good. If they are not paying you, don't worry. They are paying you in knowledge. You understand? Learn the process. Learn how to talk to clients. If it's somebody to, if it's an office you can go to, even better. Because the more the greater the the lesser the proximity, mm, the harder it is to get the value you want. But if you can walk into that office and say, I want to learn from you guys, I will come every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It will change your life. I'm telling you. Tell them you don't have to pay me. Just if you cannot give me transport, that'll be good. You understand? And if you know you can transport yourself, just give yourself 6 months, a year. Those things are so incredible. In those days, in those days when artists were artists, you see them, Leonardo da Vinci, when they draw Mona Lisa, why do you think people are still buying that thing hundreds of years later? Because that art is good. People are not drawing on that level anymore. Don't fool yourself. They know Illuminati Jacko. Their art is good. Their art is good. I've not even seen Mona Lisa face to face, but what I even see, the detailing is incredible. You understand? But he learned how to draw. He did apprenticeship for 7 years. 7 years learning under one guy. You understand? So apprenticeship is very important. So learn apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is important. It leads you to mastery. You must learn from a master. Mastery is not something you guess your way into. It's very hard to guess your way into mastery. You must have people you're learning from, and then you become a master like them. I was watching something, an interview by Thierry Henry. I'm not a fan of Thierry Henry, but I'm a fan of his football. You understand? He was an incredible player. But he was talking, and they asked him, "Who are the people that inspired you?" He said, "Ronaldo." He said, "Not this one, not Cristiano Ronaldo." He said, "The original Ronaldo." He said he would spend hours watching him play football. And you say, "How did this guy not break his leg tackling like that?" He said, "Ronaldo was his god when it came to football. He spent time watching him. And that's why he played the way he did." Then if you have Kylian Mbappe says he watches Henry. You understand? Say watch Henry, he watch Ronaldo. And now you see when he plays right now, he plays with speed. You understand? Because that's the style of these people. Henry was an athlete, was a track athlete playing football. You understand? And that's why Mbappe watched him. And now Mbappe runs like if you can't catch up with him. You see, he learned from him. You understand? So you learn from masters and then you become a master at the end of the day. You can't figure it out. It takes so long. By that time you are too weak to even apply what you've learned. So yeah, hope that helps you. So that'll be the last question we'll be taking. Number one, because so much time has gone, I don't want this to be too long for people to listen to. But I want to thank you guys. We will try to make out some time again, maybe before the new year. We'll see, to answer the rest of the questions that we have, and so that we can go into the new year with new questions and stuff like that. But thank you for being patient once again. Thanks for continuing to put up your questions on the group. So yeah, I'll be ending this session right now. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks to my assistant for asking the questions. All right then, everyone. I wish you a nice week and a great evening.